Now I want to do one of the scarier things as a product marketer, and I want to actually show you what this looks like live in the product. All right. In theory, you should be able to see my Claude instance and API MCP access. You can connect Sybill to just about anywhere. And naturally, we're seeing a lot of people connecting it to Claude. So this is what it looks like for me. Now, here's an example of maybe a prompt that I ran in Sybill. I said, use Sybill to analyze our closed loss deals from the last 12 months and find the top 5 prospects worth re-engaging based on product features we've shipped in that time. Then draft re-engagement emails for each account. And you can see that Claude was digging through our tools, deciding which tools to work with. It pulled from Sybill, both our list deals and Ask Sybill, and then was able to produce a list of who we should engage with and some copy for how to reach out to them. Here's another example of a prompt I ran here. Use Ask Sybill to create a business case for Loxo, anonymizing key contact details. So again, Claude pulls from Sybill's memory and the way it's interpreting and understanding our deal data and created that business case. Now, it's worth saying again that for these two examples, I could have done this natively in Sybill. Where this becomes really valuable is if you've given Claude specific skills, like say, for example, you have a very specific standard for your team when it comes to business cases, a format that your team is very particular about. Connecting to Claude can be very, very helpful. A lot of times for your evergreen deal actions, it's helpful to do that in Sybill. And the reason for that is that Claude sometimes likes to take shortcuts. So let me kind of peel under the hood and show you kind of what I mean by that. So if you go to my settings, connectors, go into Sybill and to configure it, you'll see that there are a number of read-only tools that are listed under here. It doesn't just say Sybill, you have Ask Sybill, you have Get Account, Conversation, Deal. What this means is that Claude is able to access both Sybill's reasoning and all of the raw data that Sybill is actually typically querying against. So this is the buckets of raw data like your account information, conversations, deal information, et cetera. So you have this kind of raw data that Sybill is capturing and working from all the time. And then you have all of the way that Sybill specifically thinks about your deals that in this case, we'll say Ask Sybill. Now, our recommendation is that you configure Claude in such a way where you're always allowing it to query against Ask Sybill. And you need approval to query against these kind of pools of data that Sybill is typically querying against. And the reason for that is, again, that Claude sometimes will try to take shortcuts. So here's a good example. We tried building a kind of forecast within Claude, and we found that Claude when it was not using Ask Sybill's logic, it was not using Ask Sybill's way of thinking about deals. It was looking at 30 deals in stage 1 and then making a forecast based on that. Now, anyone who is sales savvy knows why that would be an obvious problem. You can't reliably forecast if you're only looking at deals in stage 1. And that's because Claude, again, is trying to limit its bandwidth and be smart about how it's actually pulling data. So sometimes it will take those shortcuts. That's why we'd recommend specifically leading with Ask Sybill, because then you're going to get Ask Sybill's reasoning in Claude. And then there's a ton of other use cases of how you can utilize this. That's a key kind of clarifier I would give. This is, again, available now